We have some big news about the ending of Spider-Man Brand New Day involving MJ. This is not about a final battle or villains or anything like that, but specifically what happens with Peter Parker and MJ. According to these new reports about the ending, they actually filmed two different endings and have not, I guess, decided which one is actually going to make the final cut. One of them has fans a little split down the middle. It's a little controversial about how they get to one specific ending, and you'll have to let me know your thoughts on it when we get there. And both of them have one really big thing in common that, yes, does lead into Avengers Doomsday. It does not tell us if Peter Parker is going to be in Doomsday because everything we've heard so far says that they are not. And when I say they, I mean Peter Parker, the Hulk, MJ, whoever Sadie Sink's playing. I still believe Jean Grey. Can't convince me otherwise. So far, they are not in the movie, but these endings are really cool. And we also have the entirety of the letter that Peter wrote to MJ to go over today, and it has to do with both of these endings. Well, really one of them, but both of them have to do with MJ. So here's the first one, and this one is a bit of a controversy with the fandom right now. So obviously, we've seen through the trailer, throughout the movie, Peter is reading this letter, right? He's reading it to himself. He's speaking out loud to himself. He's talking to himself, in the mirror. There's a lot of things in the movie that are going to show us Peter going back and forth with himself, debating whether he should tell MJ or not. But in this one, when he finally builds up the courage, in this first ending, when he builds up the courage to go and talk to MJ and tell her, she actually reveals that she never forgot Peter. And the reason this is the controversial take. The reason is because she loved him too much. The reason is love, right? According to some leaks, it's something about how MJ held too tight to her connection with Peter. And it's supposed to be a direct nod to how she pieced things together in the Homecoming trilogy to find out that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. How she figured that out. So it's supposed to be a direct nod to that. Kind of the same thing. So it's kind of two things here. One, it's love. She didn't forget because of love. But two, she kind of pieced it together as well. So maybe her brain's just like a little foggy. Here's my issue with this. If she remembers who Peter is, if she remembers everything kind of perfectly, why does she have another boyfriend? And why is she kissing him in front of Peter? Why is Peter going to her apartment and she knows he's there and she has her boyfriend there, right? So that one's a little not too sure about that. Now they could say, just like at the ending of Spider-Man No Way Home, the script, when it was officially released, it said that MJ kind of had a feeling of deja vu, right? So maybe throughout the entire movie, that's how she starts to remember who Peter is. That's what I would prefer, right? It's not like, oh, she knew the whole entire time and she's making out with some guy in front of him, right? I don't like that. But as she gets to know him more, as she interacts with him more, it kind of comes back. And because she loved him so much, she remembers. I like that. Also, at the same time, a lot of people have thoughts that MJ and Ned went through the void when that happened in the Thunderbolts, and it forced them to kind of confront what happened with Peter Parker and remember everything. I like this theory, but the timelines have to line up for this to happen, right? If they were in New York, sure, it makes sense. But if they were at MIT, not in the state, then it doesn't make too much sense. So we'll have to wait and see about that. We have heard Yelena's going to show up in the film, so maybe that's what it is. But here is the second one. Well, sorry, let me finish the first one. At the very end of the first one, MJ says, "I know, Peter," and they get back together, and then an incursion happens, interrupting the reunion. They get together, right? I love you, I never forgot you, etc. Then the incursion happens, right? Interrupts it. So that's the first one. Now we go to the second one. The second one's a bit easier. Peter finally has the courage to confront MJ about what happened. He finally tells her what's on the letter, everything that happened before, the spell, everything. He confesses literally everything, and then the incursion happens. It interrupts it again. But this one, it doesn't sound like for this ending, they reunite, right? It sounds like he tells her everything, and right when he's done, boom, incursion. So it keeps them from getting back together. Although I'm sure we'll see something in Avengers Secret Wars. Again, we don't know if they're in Avengers Doomsday. So far, it doesn't seem like it, but they still could be. But right now, we're just expecting them to pop up in Secret Wars. Perhaps they'll continue that story in Secret Wars, because if they're right next to each other when the incursion happens, I would assume he would save her, right? I would assume he wouldn't leave her out to dry. So what both of these endings have in common, and this was probably, majorly dictated by Marvel Studios, is that an incursion happens at the end. This obviously sets it up to go into Avengers Doomsday. But again, I don't think these characters are going to be in it. It's more like a hint, hey, the next movie that is happening in the MCU is Avengers Doomsday. Now, for the post-credit scene, the TVA could show up, Mobius could show up, Loki could show up. They could go into the quantum realm. There's a lot of things that could happen that could keep them out of Avengers Doomsday, and they'll reveal in Secret Wars what happened before. And keep in mind, Tom Holland, Zendaya, they were filming so much between Spider-Man, The Odyssey, Dune. They were filming a lot. So it actually really wouldn't surprise me if they're not in Avengers Doomsday. A lot of conflicts there. But again, these two endings are very different. One of them, they do get back together. And what do you think about love being the reason that she kind of starts to remember? Might be a little cheesy, but I think it makes sense. And then the other one is he confesses everything and they don't get back together. I prefer the first one. Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's get into the letter that Peter Parker has for MJ that he keeps on him the entire movie, and then finally works up the courage to give her, or at least read it at the end. And I think that that second ending might be the one that they go with, but we'll have to wait and see. I love this though, because on one of the comments on Instagram, Peter Parker's letter to MJ and Spider-Man Brand New Day is kind of the title on it. And there's a comment, let it go, bro. Gwen is still out there. And I would say, yeah, I agree. That's what I'd have to say. I want Gwen in the MCU though. And I know Tom Holland and Zendaya are married in real life, so it's like you want to see them together, but I really want Gwen in the MCU. But here's what the letter says. Some of it we obviously heard in the trailer. Hi, my name is Peter Parker, and you don't remember me, but I have something to tell you that's going to sound crazy. But it's the truth, and I know you're going to believe me because you're very good at telling when I'm lying. We used to know each other. We were together, but something bad was going to happen to the world, and the only way to stop it was to make everyone forget me, including you. Because I'm not just Peter Parker, I'm Spider-Man. And sometimes Spider-Man has to do the hard thing, even if it breaks Peter Parker's heart. Maybe I'll never read this to you. Maybe I'm just writing this for me. Maybe that's my responsibility, to live alone with the truth. But the truth is, I love you. And I hope that deep down, something inside you remembers you love me too. So I think obviously this is where that first one comes into play. I hope that deep down, something inside you remembers you love me too. Right? So he confesses his love and he's saying, you did love me. We were together. We were in love. And so maybe that love was so strong that she does end up remembering who he is, right? After meeting him once again, spending more time with him. I mean, we do have that scene where Spider-Man and MJ are literally together, right? This could be that moment where he finally takes off the mask and tells her, right? It seems like either way, she's going to find out that the guy living across the hall from her is Spider-Man, right? Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Seems like no matter what happens, she finds that out. But I do kind of like the love kind of bringing it back. I like Tom Holland telling her everything and then saying, maybe you'll remember now that I've told you. And then the sparks fly again. And she does remember. I actually like that. So I want the first one to happen. And then an incursion happens and interrupts it, right? It is what it is. But this is also very telling about the movie because we know Peter Parker is no more. Right? That's one of the biggest things. Spider-Man has the priority now, and he's kind of pushed Peter Parker to the side. And that's why he says, sometimes Spider-Man has to do the hard thing, even if it breaks Peter Parker's heart. It's not just the decision in Spider-Man No Way Home he's talking about. It's the decision every day to not tell MJ what happened before. It's the decision every day to put Peter Parker aside and continue to be Spider-Man and fight crime. It's a lot. And it seems like it's going to be pretty dang emotional for Peter Parker. So you're going to have to let me know in the comments down below, which ending would you prefer? Which one do you like more? For me, I'm going with the first one. Well, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Spider-Man brand new day news. And of course, you can find us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.